Hi, I'm Sanjay Lad. Welcome to one more video of Special Biotonic. In today's session, we'll talk about law of independent assortment. We'll start with say one example. Say if a pure tall round seeded pea plant is crossed with a pure dwarf seeded pea plant, if F1 undergoes selfing, then what will be the ratio of capital T, capital T, capital R, capital R, capital T, small r, small t, capital R, small r, and small r offsprings in F2. Now students, if we solve this example with a normal method, we can come to the answer with say 15 to 20 minutes. But the trick which I'll be discussing at the end of this video, you can come to the answer quickly within 10 to 15 seconds. So let us understand that. Students, before we start with dihybrid cross, let us understand how the number of gametes are formed. Let us take first example. The genotype is capital T, capital T. It forms two gametes of one type. So the answer is one type of gamete is formed. In second case, small t genotype forms two gametes, but again of one type. In third case, capital T, capital R, it also forms four gametes but of one type. So the number of gametes formed are 4 but type is 1. In fifth case, capital T, capital R, small r, it forms though 4 gametes but there are only two types. So the answer is 2. Now here fifth case, capital T, capital R, small r, sorry, capital T, capital R, it also forms 4 gametes but of two types. So students, here if you take a next example, capital T, capital R, small r, the gamete formed are capital T, capital R, capital T, small r, small t, capital R, small t, small r. So there are 4 gametes formed. So the type of gametes are 4. So here we can make a generalized statement that number of gametes is equal to 2 raised to n, where n is number of heterozygous characters. Let us understand again here. Now in case of 6th case, number of heterozygous characters are 2. So 2 raised to 2 is 4. So the answer is 4 gametes are formed. 4 types of gametes are formed. In case of 5th, one heterozygous condition is there. So 2 raised to 1 is, so the answer is 2 gametes are formed. In case of 4th, one heterozygous condition. So 2 raised to 1 is 2. In case of first 3 cases, there are no heterozygous conditions. So 2 raised to 0 is what? 1. So once we know the formula, we can understand the number of gametes formed by any type of genotype easily. Now in case of 7th example, there are 3 heterozygous conditions. So 1, 2 and 3 heterozygous condition. So 2 raised to 3, the answer should be 8. So here these are the 8 gamete formed. So students, in case of dihybrid cross, this is a F1 form, capital T, capital R, small r, and if we can understand these 4 gametes, then we can understand dihybrid cross easily. So it is said like well begun is half done. So once we know these 4 gametes, then we can solve the type of dihybrid crosses easily. So with this, we'll continue the dihybrid cross. Students, let us understand what is the meaning of monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. Now say a pure tall plant is crossed with say pure dwarf plant. So this is one example. Second example is say pure tall round plant is crossed with say pure dwarf wrinkled plant. Now the first is called as monohybrid cross, whereas second is called as dihybrid cross. Now students, here the two parents are crossed with one pair of contrasting character. So here the one pair of contrasting character is tall versus dwarf. So therefore it is a monohybrid cross. Now in case of dihybrid cross, two parents are crossed with two pairs of contrasting character. Here one pair of contrasting character is tall round, second is say dwarf and wrinkled. So in monohybrid cross, like two parents are crossed with one pair of contrasting character, whereas in dihybrid cross, two parents are crossed with two pairs of contrasting character. Now typically when we have say monohybrid cross, we get a phenotypic ratio as 3:1, whereas the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. In case of dihybrid cross, we simply get say phenotypic ratio as 3:1 multiplied by 3:1, whereas the genotypic ratio will be 1:2:1 multiplied by 1:2:1. Now what is the meaning of these two like say answers? We'll see it later on. Students, let us solve the example of this dihybrid cross. say a pure tall round plant is crossed with say pure dwarf wrinkled plant. The genotype of first parent is capital T, capital T, capital R, capital R. Second is small t, smaller, smaller. Now first parent forms these four gametes. Second forms these four gametes. Now as these gametes are same, so we'll write it say once. So first parent will form capital T, capital R type of gamete, whereas second parent will form small t, smaller type of gamete. During fertilization, these gamete unite to form the zygote. So the zygote formed here is capital T, small t, capital R, small r. Now we know that once we know the number of heterozygous character for a genotype, we can calculate the number of gametes it is going to form. Now in this example, the number of heterozygous character are 2. So therefore it will form 2 raised to 2, that is 4 gametes. So this will form the 4 gamete as first is capital T capital R, second is capital T small r, third is small t capital R, and last is small t smaller. Now we'll see further how these gametes unite to form the further F2 generation. Students, when this F1 forms say P2 second parental generation, it will form P2 as hybrid tall round is crossed with hybrid tall round. The genotype of this parent are capital T small t capital R small r. Same here also capital T small t capital R small r. Now first parent will form these 4 gametes, the second parent will form these 4 gametes. Now students, these 4 gametes, when it fuses with this 4 gamete, it will form total 16 offsprings. Now we'll understand these 16 offsprings with the help of this checkerboard. Now in checkerboard, what we do is we write the gametes of say female parent on horizontal axis and the gametes of male on vertical axis. Now during fertilization, what will happen? So this first male gamete fuses with these 4 different types of female gametes and it will result into formation of say these 4 offsprings. Now say second male gamete will fuse with these 4 female gametes to form these 4 offsprings. Then this third female like male gamete fuses with these 4 female gametes to form so these 4 offsprings, and these are the last 4 offsprings after fertilization. Now we'll see how that results into a typical say phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio. Now the first set phenotypic ratio is tall round. Now students, once we get say this checkerboard ready, we can calculate easily how many tall round plants are there. So we'll calculate, so this is one tall round, second, third, fourth, so this is fifth, sixth, and this is 7, 8, and this is the last one, that is 9. So we have this 9 tall round plants. Now next phenotype is say tall wrinkled. Now in this checkerboard we have say this first as tall wrinkled, then second as tall wrinkled, and this is a third tall wrinkled. So in total we have say 3 tall wrinkled plants. Now the third type of phenotype is a dwarf round. Now there are 3 dwarf round plants, say 1, 2, and this is the third one. So in total we have 3 dwarf round plants, and the dwarf wrinkled is 1. So the last one is dwarf wrinkled, so that is 1. Now students, here we get a ratio of what, 9:3:3:1 as phenotypic ratio. Now let us work on this genotypic ratio. Now the first genotype is say capital T capital T capital R capital R. Now that is repeated only once in the checkerboard, so that is one type. Now second is say capital T capital T capital R small r, so that is repeated twice in the checkerboard, so that is 2 times. Then capital T small t capital R capital R, that is also repeated say twice in the checkerboard, and all these diagonally opposite 4 offsprings show capital T small t capital R small r type of genotype, so that is the fourth one. So here for tall round plants we get these 4 types of genotypes, say capital T capital T capital R capital R, capital T capital T capital R small r, then capital T small t capital R, and the last is capital T small t capital R small r. Now next is say capital T small r. Now that is repeated only once in the checkerboard. Then next type of genotype is say capital T small t smaller, that is repeated say twice in the checkerboard. So these are the genotypes corresponding to say tall and wrinkled. Now the next genotype is say small t capital R, that is repeated once, and the next is say small t capital R, so that is repeated twice in the checkerboard. Now these two are the genotypes corresponding to dwarf and round, and the last one is small t smaller, that is repeated once. So students, once we have the checkerboard ready, we can calculate easily phenotypic ratio as well as genotypic ratio, and with this we can find out the question which is asked in the first slide. Students, let us understand the statement of law of recombination of genes. Now this law of recombination of genes is also called as say law of independent assortment of genes. Now the statement says that when two homozygous parents differing with say two pairs of contrasting characters are crossed, then inheritance of one pair of allele is independent of other. Let us understand what is the meaning of this. Now say this is one pair of allele for say height, this is second pair of allele for say seed shape. Now when these alleles are separated, they separate independent of each other. Now what is the meaning of this? That capital T can go with capital R to form say capital T capital R type of gamete. Capital T can go with small r to form capital T small r, leaving say small t. Small t can go with capital R or small t can go with small r, leaving capital T. Now this results into formation of these four types of gametes. Now out of these four gametes, the first and last gamete is old type or parental type of combination, whereas the middle two, that is capital T small r and small t capital R, are new combination type of gametes. So here in case of say law of independent assortment, we not only get say parental combination type of gametes, we also get new combinations, so that results in variations and that will lead to evolution. We'll see this significance later on. Students, we get different types of new and old combinations in offsprings also. Let us understand that. Now when we observe say this phenotypic ratio as 9:3:3:1, out of these total 16 offsprings, so the first and last, that is 9 plus 1, 10 offspring shows say old combination, whereas remaining 6 shows new combination. So the combination of parental to new phenotypes is 10:6 in dihybrid crosses. And with respect to genotypes, say here, so this is one parent, this is a second parent, and this is a third parent. So in total there are say 6 parental combinations with respect to genotypes, whereas 10 are new combination. So with respect to genotypes, the offspring shows 6:1 ratio, whereas with respect to phenotypes, the offspring shows 10:6 ratio. Now students, we get many questions based on say such patterns in CT and NEET examinations. So we'll see such examples maybe in one of the next video. Students, coming back to the question which we have asked in the beginning of the video, and what I said is you can come to the answer quickly in 10 to 15 seconds by the pattern which we are going to discuss now. Now to understand the pattern, students, I want you to remember these two things. One is remember the pattern of say dihybrid phenotypes. Now the dihybrid phenotypes are what? First is tall round, second is tall wrinkled, third is dwarf round, and last is dwarf wrinkled. Now write the way I have written it, and then corresponding to tall round we have these four genotypes. So write ratio as 1:2:2:4. Now corresponding to tall wrinkled, the ratio is 1:2. Corresponding to dwarf and round, the ratio is 1:2, and corresponding to dwarf and wrinkled, the ratio is 1. Now students, I want you to remember these two patterns quickly, that is this phenotypes and the ratio as 1:2:2:4, 1:2, 1:2, and 1. And with this we'll find out what is the pattern behind this say dihybrid genotypic ratio. Now we'll start with say last one. Now students, we know that dwarf and wrinkled both are recessive character. So you can write down immediately the genotypes of this last offspring, t, smaller. Now in case of dwarf and round, dwarf is a recessive character. So you can immediately write down both the genotypes here, say small t and small t. Now this round can be say pure round, so you must write first as pure say genotype and second as heterozygous. So first is capital R, second is capital R small r. Now for tall wrinkled, now students, wrinkled is a recessive character. So write the genotypes of wrinkled character immediately. That is smaller. Now the tall character can be say pure tall or hybrid tall. So write as first pure and then heterozygous. And coming back to the first one, here now here both the characters are dominant. So what we can do is we can start first with say both homozygous. So here first is capital R. Then first homozygous, second heterozygous. Then in third case first heterozygous, second homozygous, and in last case both heterozygous. So with this we can understand the type of genotype and their ratio, and these ratios are corresponding to the phenotypes which we get. So students, you may require at least some time to say adapt this pattern. Now once you adapt this pattern, you can come to the answer of such questions quickly in 10 to 15 seconds. Now let us solve the uh, question which is asked here. Now question is asking about the ratio, like say ratio of capital R, capital T capital R small r, then small t capital R small r, and last is small t small r. So here the ratio should be 1 is to 4 is to 2 is to 1. So students, by now you have understood. Once you know this pattern, you can come to the answer quickly. Now let us take such examples again. Now we'll solve one more example, student. Now here we are asking question pattern is same, but we are asking what is the ratio of these offsprings in F2. Now the pattern which we have discussed now. Now here the question asked is about say what is the ratio of say capital R, capital R small r, then small t capital R small r, and the last one is small t small r. Now students, once you know this pattern, you can come to the answer like say 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 1, 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 1 in less than 10 seconds. So I request you all to adapt this pattern first, and you can get the answers of such questions quickly. Let us take one more example. Students, in this example, we have asked the pattern of like say first is say capital R, then capital T small r, then small t capital R, and last is small t small r. So once you read the question carefully and read the type of genotypes asked as a ratio, then we can get the answer as say 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1 quickly in no time. So the answer should be here 1 is to 1 is to 1 is to 1. That is answer A. Now we'll take one more example. Now students, coming to the end of the video, we'll take one more example. Now this example is totally different from what we have discussed so far. Now the example here is, say if a plant with genotype capital B is crossed with small b, and if F1 undergoes selfing, then what will be the ratio of, now these are the four types of offsprings asked, and they are asking about what are the ratios. Now students, we want to solve again this question in 10 to 15 seconds. Now for that you have to again deduce this pattern or understand this pattern. Now how to deduce this pattern? Please remember this ratio as 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 4, 1 is to 2, 1 is to 2 and 1. Write this ratio as I have written. Now in case of say first four combination, these four combinations are all dominant characters, both characters are dominant. So what we have to write here, in first case both homozygous. So both homozygous means capital A capital B. In second case, write first as homozygous, second as heterozygous. In third case, first hetero and homozygous, and in fourth case both heterozygous. So with this you can write the genotype of these first four offsprings. Then in this set of offsprings, write the recessive conditions quickly. So small b and small b. Then write here as first homozygous, second heterozygous. In third type of say this offsprings, write the genotypes of recessive parents quickly. That is small a. Now here the other parent will have the genotype that will be first homozygous, second heterozygous, and last is anyway it is recessive character, so it is small a, small b, small b. Now students, once you understand this pattern, the pattern is, say here both homozygous, then here first homozygous, second heterozygous, first heterozygous, second homozygous, here both heterozygous. Now here homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive, heterozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, homozygous recessive, homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, heterozygous dominant, and in last case both are homozygous recessive. Once you know this pattern, then you can come to the answer quickly. Now in the question, the ratio of say capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital A, small a, capital B, small b, small a, capital B, small b, and last is small a, small b is asked. Now, so the answer should be here 1 is to 4 is to 2 is to 1. So students, once you know the pattern, you can come to the answer quickly. That is what the law of independent assortment. So at the end, I feel like you're understanding law of independent assortment, which is also called as law of recombination of genes. So here in this law, we get not only different say gametes as far as say parental combination is concerned and new combination is concerned. We also get new offsprings. That is not only parental combination, we also get new combination of offsprings. So this is useful in variation and evolution. So students, at the end, I request you all to like, share and subscribe my videos. And if you subscribe, you can get the link of my new videos quickly. And if you want to see my previous videos, the link of such videos are given in the description box. Please check that. And thank you for watching this video. And please give thumbs up if you like this video.